This is definitely not an easy story to tell. How did you both learn of it, and what made you want to be a part of the process and bringing it to life?
I heard about it when I read the first three scripts. I didn't know anything about the story. I didn't know anything about the Brobergs. So the scripts were very much my sort of introduction to them. I watched the documentary about what it is that they went through, and all of that just stuck in my head. I couldn't get them and their story out of my head. And I figured if I'm still thinking about all of this stuff days later, there must be something there that I should really get at. So that was pretty much my entrance into telling their story.
I hadn't seen the documentary. I hadn't heard of the story until the scripts came to me either. But reading the scripts, I there was so much to them, and I was so shocked. So I read all the scripts, then I watched the documentary, then I read all the scripts again and repeated, and it was just so wild. There was so much that happened, and I just knew that I wanted to be a part of telling this story if Jan was a part of it. And luckily she was. She's been a really big part of our production, and it's been amazing to work in such close contact with her. And to me, that was just it was an honor, and it was beautiful to be able to tell her story with her.
Yeah, I was gonna ask both of you how closely you worked with Jan, or if you had any conversations about portraying either of your characters.
I spoke to her often. I spoke to her a lot. I'd message her and I'd ask her questions, and I'd send her pictures from set. And just from pictures and telling her what scene we were doing, she would give me a whole backstory and everything that was going on in that particular moment in time. And that was so helpful for me, because it was scary playing Jan. I was nervous. I wanted to make sure that I did it right for her, because I love her so much. And I think she's totally someone I look up to in my life now, but I wanted to make sure that I did it right and that I told it right. And so it was very important to me to be able to have that connection with her, which luckily I did.
Yeah, I got a note from her when I got to Atlanta to start production, and it was very thoughtful. It was very sweet. It would sort of gave her blessing and said, "Go do what you need to do. I'm here if you need me." And just so happy to have you telling my father's story. And that was such a gift. It's just such an incredible gift. And so I spoke with her. We texted on a few occasions before we started production, and then I would see her on set. And then really, I mean, the most I spoke with her probably was the day that I acted with her, which it comes later in the series. But just an incredible woman, and just incredibly gracious and kind to all of us trying to help tell her story.
Colin, it's sort of easy to look at this upon first glance and blame the parents for what happened. Was that something that you wanted to sort of dispel?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's very easy, given the subject matter, to look back now and just be very judgmental and say, how could you not have seen all of these signs? How could you make the decisions that you made? But the truth of the matter is that they did not make their decisions in a vacuum. They were preyed upon, just like Jan was, and they were groomed, and they were forced to make decisions that they didn't even know they were really making. And I think a big part of the reason why I wanted to do this was to help show why they made the decisions that they did. They've always been very forthright in saying that they made every single wrong decision they possibly could. They've never tried to run or hide from that, but I don't think they've really been given the opportunity to really explain why they did those things. And I think that's because it's so hard to understand, given our knowledge of these subjects now. And so that was really important for me to for the show to try and highlight and show, because the truth is that they were victims, and they were forced to do things that they didn't really truly understand.
Yeah, just like it's easy to blame the parents, it's sort of easy to look at this story and find it completely unrelatable when a lot of times that's not the case. What would both of you say to someone to sort of encourage them to watch and hopefully realize this and start important conversations.
To me, I think that it's very easy on the outside looking in to say, like, if that was my story, if that would have happened to me, I would have never let this happen. This would have never happened to me because I would have been smarter. I would have seen this. Also, like, it was the 70s, and nobody really knew what was going on. They didn't have a complete awareness of the telltale signs that someone is a manipulator, and especially not whenever it's someone so close to you. So I hope that watching this, that people will have a better understanding of their story and of their family, but also have more of an awareness that these types of things happen, that they do, and that it's important to look out for.
Yeah, I think there's so many people, especially when they hear the story, they feel like they know everything they need to know about, the subject, and that it wouldn't happen to them. And the truth of the matter is you do not know that it's happening to you. You do not know when you're being groomed. You do not know when you're being taken advantage of. You do not know when you're being preyed upon by a manipulator and a predator. And so I think it's important for people to watch the show and get a better understanding of just how deep that goes, and just how tragic it can be. There's a lot to digest for sure, but I think if people take the time to really sort of empathize and sort of sit in the Broberg shoes, they'll have a better understanding as to how all of this could have happened.